Jackie, thanks for joining us.
Paul, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much indeed. Can you tell us about your thoughts about the upcoming World Cup? I know it's going to be in Qatar, it's going to be in the winter. It's a brand new World Cup for a lot of us. What do you think?
Well, for a first off, I would say it should never be held in Qatar, with all due respect to the country. They're not a football country, and obviously FIFA administrators, I don't know what sort of deals were done. So that's sad. It's also sad that because of the heat, it has to be played during the season of the European clubs. And we've never had this before, and we shouldn't have had it now. And there's also, the media outlets are making a big deal about the misdemeanors of the Qatari regime and all that, and their treatment of gays and whatever. And I think let's just get the football. That's all the people want to see, is the football, and the top players in the world will be there. And just let's blow the first whistle and get on with it.
Yeah, I think that's the thoughts of a lot of people. Unfortunately, sounds like it could overshadow the whole tournament.
Absolutely.
But getting on to the football, Jackie, where do you think the World Cup's going to end up in about a month's time?
You're not one for the easy questions. I haven't a clue, Paul. But when you look at this here, I mean, there's Messi. Argentina will always be there. France, Mbappe, wonderful, wonderful young player. It's great to see Wales back there. I remember as a young boy in '58 when all 4 home countries got to Sweden to the World Cup finals, and Northern Ireland did so well. But we've since been to 2 World Cup finals, '82 Spain, '86 Mexico. But this is for Wales something like 64 years since they've been to World Cup finals. And with Gareth Bale, he's not getting any younger, but he's a magical player. So I would love to see them do well. A lot of people, particularly the English people, think that Harry Kane and the boys can do it. They possibly could. I see them maybe getting to the semi-finals. But the big factor in all of this, and trying to choose a winner, will be the conditions, the humidity, the heat, even though the games have been played at night. And it is the winter apparently over there, but it'll still be very, very hot. So you have to think about Brazil, you have to think about Argentina, you have to think about Spain. Players who come from those hotter countries who are better used to the climate. So who will win it? I'm a great traditionalist. Brazil could well finish on top, but with Messi, I believe he had a little injury scare. If he plays, there's not a better player in the world anywhere, even at his age, and they could do it. That would be a great reward for the joy that Messi has brought to the football world over all the years. Magical player, that he would finish by winning a World Cup. And then he would be compared sort of level with the great Maradona, who has won the World Cup. And when I think of Maradona, I think of Messi. I also think of our own George Best, who never got to play in a World Cup finals. But when people say who is the greatest player in the world, it's very difficult to say who's the greatest player in the world, because the game changes, the balls change, everything. But George Best, as Jimmy Greaves told me in the George Best documentary, he said, all I would say is I have never seen a better player than George Best. When I'm asked the question about the greatest, I always say, well, Messi, Maradona and Best were the 3 greatest entertainers, where you would sit back and go, wow, did he really do that? They brought that level of superstardom, excellence to the beautiful game of football, and we'll not forget them.
Speaking of great players, there's arguably one of the greatest players of this generation, isn't on that poster, but he's been very controversial this last week. He's brought out an interview, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, you're a great footballer, well known for winning the title with Crusaders in 1973. If you'd released an interview like that, what do you think the response would have been?
Well, I'd be out of the club post haste. But there's so many politics and we can get more money for him and all that. But after what he's done, and I think he's maybe trying to engineer a move for himself in January after the World Cup. He throws this hand grenade in to the midst of the English media, and then he takes off for the World Cup thinking everything will die down. But you cannot disrespect the manager at your club, Ten Hag at Manchester United, and say a lot of things about the club and expect to stay there. So I hope he goes and he's where he's happy. He's approaching 38, I think, very soon, and he's been a wonderful player, one of the best players along with Messi and that the world has seen. So I just hope he's happy. He can still change a game with that little bit of magic. And football needs people like Ronaldo, but not if he's behaving like this. I think you've seen him play his last game for Manchester United. I would doubt if he'll be back. And in my opinion, I don't think he should be back.
It's a sad end, isn't it?
It is a sad end.
If it's okay, Jackie, I have just one final quick question. Thank you very much for your time. I'm studying sports journalism here at Belfast Met, and I just wonder, is there any quick advice you can maybe give to someone like me who would like to be the next Jackie Fullerton?
Good luck with that. The advice I would give you is hard work. People think it's all, if you appear on television a couple of times, oh, I've made it. Never think like that. Don't get carried away with your own impressions of yourself. Hard work, research. If you're doing commentaries or interviews, research the person you're interviewing, and they will relax and give you a better interview if they think, oh, this guy has done his homework, he knows something about me, and they will give you a better interview. So never take your foot off the gas, and it's not just all about you, it's about the product that you produce, and you only produce the best. It's like football. You have to train hard, practice hard, before you can play and display all your skills. It's the same with television. Get in there, work hard, Paul, and who knows, you might achieve that very low ambition of being the next Jackie Fullerton.
Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Fullerton. Thanks, Jackie.
Pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much indeed. Very kind.